Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and Droids across the galaxy. And dare I say, let's give a shout out to our Imperials out there because we are going to break down a new system coming to Galaxy is affecting turn meter. And let me take off my Imperial tactical scanners. Bask in the glory of the light that is Emperor Palpatine. As we're going to see, systematically, they're going to be changing turn meter and speed turn orders and whatnot. But as an indirect result, the Palpatine lead is going to get so much better. And especially if you run Palpatine and Vader, holy cow, they're going to have the biggest change as a result of this. So yet again, we're seeing a continued improvement upon Palpatine and Darth Vader. When we thought maybe they might nerf him because he's so dang powerful, no. They keep adding new things that indirectly or directly make those characters a lot better. I'll explain more in detail in a moment how that's going to be the case. We're going to showcase the upcoming turn meter change that is kind of long overdue. Then I'm going to explain how this is greatly going to impact Palpatine and Vader. Specifically, there's going to be other characters that benefit a lot, but these two are going to benefit by far the most. Show you some gameplay of how this problem that currently exists is going to get rectified by this upcoming post. And we got a mild title update in regards to a mild title update in regards to the title update in regards when it's going to be happening. It seems like in August we're going to get Galactic Challenges here and this change that's coming along with this upcoming title update. Let's read it, break it down, and have some fun here. Turn meter and speed overflow changes, ladies and gentlemen. Ha table heroes. Our next title update will change how a battle determines which units will go next when multiple units have 100% turn meter. Now, basically right now, if you guys don't know how it works, it's a coin toss festival. Basically, if multiple characters are at 100% turn meter, the system's gonna be like, all right, we're gonna just flip a coin to see who gets to go next. And it's very unpredictable, as I'll show you with some of the footage that I personally was affected by in a grand arena not too long ago. And this new system defines a couple of new turn order rules for units with over 100% turn meter to help create more expected outcomes. So let's break it down. What are they adding? They're adding a new mechanic called Overflow. In this system, units can have their turn meter overflow 100%. Now, you still got to reach 100% turn meter if you want to have the opportunity to take a turn. But this overflow is mainly trying to help when multiple units are at 100% turn meter. They're going to start looking at, all right, who has the most overflow between you guys here? Important. But the order of turns will be determined by the unit with the most turn meter overflow, as they say. The turn meter overflow does not act as a buffer against turn meter reduction. So let's say you had 8,000% overflow. If someone did a mind trick that reduced 60% turn meter from you, you lose all that overflow, and then you lose 60% turn meter, meaning you're gonna be put at 40% turn meter afterwards. So don't get too cocky here. It's not gonna act as an immunity basically to turn meter reduction. And what else do we have here? When a unit with turn meter overflow has their turn meter reduced, they forfeit all overflow turn meter before having their 100% turn meter reduced, as we explained right here. So they give you some the new guidelines for what's going to come with this new title update and these new changes right here. Here is the order in which units will take turns if multiple units have reached at least 100% turn meter. Now, there's going to be a couple of important things to point out here, not just Palpatine and Vader, but some other. That's the pro to all this. Palpatine and Vader get better, but as we're going to see, it's going to put a heavier emphasis on mods, on characters that really didn't need a heavy speed emphasis, as I'll explain there when we get there. So firstly, they're going to look at the units with the highest turn meter overflow value. So if you have 101% and someone else had 100%, the 101% is going to go first. And here's what I'm trying to get at right here with the mod situation. If multiple units are tied with the exact same turn meter overflow value, the unit with the highest speed will act. Now, I agree that's probably the way they should go, because again, we want more predictable outcomes. But the problem that we're going to have here is, let's say you're Han Solo. Han Solo traditionally does not need to be modded for a ton of speed because he gets lots of turn meter, especially if he's under a Commander Luke Skywalker lead. His middle ability gives him a ton of extra turn meter. But now if there's multiple Han Solos, you look at both. You could have multiple Han Solos, but the raid Han Solo that we're focusing on here, they're going to look at, all right, who's got the faster Han Solo between you guys. So that's the only downside to this, is that it's going to put a heavier emphasis on having good speed mods on your character. Now, we all strive for speed mods, of course. It's not like we don't want that. It's just difficult to have a lot of great characters with a lot of great speed on them. So point being, there's some great stuff to this. The only downside is when it's going to start looking at who's matched, they're going to look at speed. But the good thing is, most likely Terminator Overflow is not going to match up as much. So I think that's the good thing about this. So I don't think it's going to come down to a speed mirror match. Who's got the higher speed? And thirdly, if multiple units are tied with the exact same Terminator Overflow value and the same speed, then they're going to choose randomly. So first, they look at Terminator Overflow. Who's got the most Terminator Overflow? Secondly, if they have the same Terminator Overflow, who's got the higher speed? And then thirdly, they're going to look at, all right, if you all got the same, we're just going to flip a coin then. So there's less opportunities to flip a coin, and that's the good thing. That's going to come out of this system here. And then they give you a couple notes here. Note number one, units who have been granted a bonus turn are subject to the same rules, but they will take their turn before anyone who has not been granted a bonus turn. If there are multiple units with a bonus turn, the order is determined by the same criteria. Highest overflow, high speed, then randomly. So this kind of gets to, I'm assuming, like Han Solo, because before Han Solo, not a lot of people knew this. I was told this way back when, goodness gracious, and they're in the golden ages of Galaxy, like 2016, 2017. I asked the dev, and back then, how Han Solo worked, because no one really understood who shot first. There's a lot of theories who had the fastest speed. It was never that. Han Solo, they were just kind of artificially given a ton of speed at the beginning, and then it was a coin toss. Who would go first? Well, now, if I understand this correctly, this is going to kind of suck for Han Solo mirror matches. When you go into a Han Solo mirror match, they're going to look at, all right, who's got the faster Han Solo? They're going to shoot first. That's my assumption that's going to work there. Another example is Watt Tembor. Whoever's the fastest Watt Tembor, their Watt Tembor gets the bonus turn first. But Watt Tembor doesn't matter. Watt Tembor versus Watt Tembor mirror match, they're just going to both get their tech off eventually. But Han Solo versus Han Solo, that could be a little dicier. So you're going to want to have a faster Han Solo, it seems like, than your opponent. So speed mods all day, baby. And then note number two, the targeted effects like Thrawn's Terminator Swap will go first the vast majority of time, but there are some extreme edge cases with high amounts of overflow, which we will give an example right here in a moment, that could cause another unit to go first. And they give you a couple of examples to kind of break down CLS versus Captain Rex and Echo. Now, we talk about Palpatine and Vader. We're going to go more in depth in a moment here, but Captain Rex, I think, is going to be another character that's going to really benefit from Terminator overflows, especially a Captain Rex lead. Whew, that's another high Terminator team right there. So they give you the base stats, 250 for Rex, 200 for Echo, 200 for CLS, and then Old Ben is 225. And then you assume that each unit has the following Terminator. Rex has 100% with 10% overflow, so 110% put together, 90% for Echo, 130% for CLS, Old Ben 98%. So before reading this, the next step, CLS should go first because he has more overflow than Captain Rex. Before this new update that's coming out, it would just look at 100% Terminator, 100% Terminator. Let's flip a coin between Rex and CLS, and Rex might go before CLS, where here, this new system shows CLS should go first because he has more overflow. But if they had equal overflow, ladies and gentlemen, they both had 130%. Rex would go before CLS because, as we see from the example stats, Rex has 250 speed. Speed mods are going to be important in those Terminator overflow mirror matches. And then they give you the example afterwards right here. CLS will go first because he has the most overflow. Use this basic against Rex, which it critically hits, which generates 15% Terminator for Rex and Echo. Terminator gains under the Captain Rex lead. So Rex now has 125%. Echo has 105%. CLS 0. Old Ben 98%. Rex takes his turn. And then it kind of keeps going on and on and on. And then you kind of see how it works. But then we see Old Ben uses mind tricks and is not resisted. And then this reduced the enemy's Terminator, Rex and Echo, by 60%. So although there was some overflow, as we saw up here, 105% overflow on Echo, when you remove Terminator, you completely forfeit all that overflow, and then you directly get your Terminator reduced. So this is an all right example, I think, explaining how this works. And as they say, thanks for reading and stay tuned for more information on the upcoming title update. Let's kind of branch off on that before we talk about Emperor Palpatine and Vader, because I want to explain why they're going to get the biggest impact as a result of this system here. Galactic Challenges, there was a big thread on Galactic Challenges going on in the forums, and Kino kind of said that the last time he spoke to Crumb, things are still on track for this month. We should be getting a post of more information shortly, and possibly the title update, which will be coming this month. They don't have as much direct information on the title update, but if you're asking when we're supposed to see this title update and when are we going to get more information on Galactic Challenges, it seems like this month we're going to be seeing that sometime soon. But now, I want to show you the example of how this system is going to solve a lot of problems and make Palpatine and Vader better. Here we go. Flashback. June 25th. Oh my gosh, I didn't even like my own stream. My goodness gracious. That's like YouTuber rule number 1. Goodness, we're already feeling right there. Watch this. We're going into Palpatine and Vader up against Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. Let's fast forward it. Stalling. You guys get the drill. But watch this. Vader's going to town. He's slaying, doing his thing. But watch Barris. Remember, Barris gets passive Terminator. every time someone's being hit. Now, watch this right here. I think it's actually a little bit later on right here. Is this it right here? All right, perfect. Go back. Watch this. So Vader should have went next after this massive AoE, which applied a ton of debuffs under the Palpatine lead. He should have went next. But however, Barris has got a little bit more turn meter to hit her 100%, and Vader hit 100%. And technically, I was predicting that Vader would go next because logically, that should be the predictable outcome because all the turn meter he's generating. But Barris won the coin toss between him and Vader, or her and Vader, and that resulted in the Palpatine lead just completely falling apart because Barris was finally able to get the Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker to take his turn, use the special ability granted by Jedi Knight Luke Lee, and the whole battle fell apart. This should have been a winnable battle for Emperor Palpatine and Vader, but because we lost against a coin toss, this whole battle fell apart. And that is why this new system coming in place is going to make Palpatine and Vader so much better. Let's hop back over here and explain it real quick, and we'll wrap up this video right here. So Palpatine and Vader, it shouldn't be known, shouldn't be unknown, I should say, that Palpatine has the biggest turn meter train in the game. 20% turn meter every single time an Empire ally is inflicting a debuff, and then whenever a debuff expires, they're getting 5% turn meter. So tons of turn meter being granted through this lead here. And then if we look at the Vader example, kind of mirroring that battle that you just saw there, looking at our boy Darth Vader, the free-to-play dream right here, the dream machine. Here's the main thing. There's a lot of debuffs associated with Vader, but let's just look at this. For example, we saw that Force Crush he did before Barris kind of jerked him from a turn here. Deal physical damage to all enemies and inflict speed down. 1 debuff and then 3 damage over time effects. Well, that right there, assuming he applies the speed down and the 3 damage over times, 4 debuffs being applied, 80% turn meter for each individual character, assuming they take all 4 debuffs. So hypothetically, in that example right there, Vader would have gotten 80 times 5, so 400% turn meter in total. So that would have been 100% turn meter plus 300% turn meter overflow. I can guarantee you that Barris in that match that we saw right over here a few moments ago, she would not have had 300% overflow. She probably would have had 100% turn meter plus maybe 10-15% turn meter overflow. Vader would have went next and keep on going. But furthermore, not even just Vader, all those debuffs that are being culled and turned into turn meter for the Sith and Imperial units, our Empire units that we had here would have even more turn meter overflow. So they would have gotten a lot more turns in before Barris finally got her opportunity. So this hopefully was a very overview example of how Palpatine and Vader are going to become a much better combo. But as a result of this of course is trying to make the game more predictable, but as a side effect, there are going to be some teams that are going to get drastically better, and this right here, this is going to become even better because now you're going to have a lot more turn meter overflow in your advantage right here. So I like these changes because I love using my Palpatine and Vader. The only downside is losing to 100% turn meter coin tosses like we saw here. Barris should not have gone against Vader in this upcoming system. So great change. So if you're running a Palpatine lead, Vader, maybe just even Sith, Bastila Shan Fallen puts out a lot of debuffs out there. So that's another fantastic example. Palpatine lead in general is going to get so much better. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think. Is this a change that you're loving to see? I am excited for it, and just mainly for the fact that it's going to be more predictable. And furthermore, I wonder how this is actually going to affect new characters. Maybe there'll be a new turn meter overflow mechanic buff that someone can do. Maybe like a Captain Rex that messes with turn meter overflow. Who knows what they can come up with? And how will this affect, like, goodness gracious, like all those big legendary events that normally have a lot of turn meter? I wonder how that's going to affect that. Those, oh boy, I don't want to think about it. Legendary events of like tons of turn meter overflow, so you are guaranteed not to go first for quite a while. We'll see. Happy about the changes, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Let's go ahead and get that outro segment going. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Like if you did enjoy the video. Comment down below. Are you happy that Darth Vader is just going to get better as a result of fixing a system that should have been fixed a long time ago? Maybe some of you guys won't like it, but I for sure love this. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe so you're not missing a thing. Hit the Empire. Ain't that right, Gary? And we'll see all you lovely people in the next video. All right, somebody around here, roll out the outro. I don't know. You doing it? You're doing it. Who wants to roll out? All right, whatever. Someone did it.